Well, hello, folks. Thanks for tuning in. This week, we have chapters 29, 30, and 31. And those are the last ones. This is where we wrap everything up with a nice little bow tie and a happy ending. I hope you've enjoyed the story. The next one in line is going to be the very first book I wrote. And if you give it a little time, I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks for listening. Chapter 29. Alice Cobbs opened her front door to find a delivery man holding a large box. "Are you sure you have the right address, young man?" "Yes, ma'am. Bruce and Alice Cobbs, Odessa, Texas." "Well, okay," Alice said as she signed the receipt. As she walked through the living room, her husband asked, "What have you got there?" "I don't know," Alice answered as she laid the box on the dining table. "It has our names on it, but it has some stickers and markings that I can't read, and no return address." This wasn't enough to stir Bruce from his recliner. Alice got a knife and started cutting the shipping tape. She opened the first box only to find a second, smaller box sitting in the shipping peanuts. This box was wrapped in plastic and aluminum foil. "What in the world?" she exclaimed as she began to open the second box. "What is it?" her husband asked, still not budging from his recliner. Alice opened the second box to find a small drawstring pouch and an envelope. She opened the pouch and poured its contents onto the table. The solid gold coins made quite a racket when they hit the glass countertop. "Oh my God!" Alice exclaimed. This was finally enough to get Bruce out of his recliner. He walked into the dining room to find his wife staring at the gold coins on the table. Bruce picked up one of the coins and looked at it closely. There were no markings on it. The coin felt very heavy. He raised the coin to his mouth and bit down on it. "Get that out of your mouth. You don't know what that is or where it's been," Alice scolded. Bruce took the coin from his mouth and examined the marks his teeth had made. "Well, I can't tell you where it's been, but I can tell you what it is. These are solid gold," he said excitedly. "How many are there?" "Looks like about 20. "What else was in the box?" "Just this," she said, handing Bruce the envelope. Bruce opened the envelope and unfolded the letter that was inside. "What does it say?" "All it says is, 'Thanks for being good Christians.'" "That's all?" "That's all," Bruce said as he handed Alice the letter. Alice and Bruce just stared at the gold coins for a bit, and then Alice asked, "Do you think they might be from the man that we helped in the desert that time?" "That's the best explanation I can think of," Bruce replied. Chapter 30. A man and a woman were walking along a beautiful white sand beach. The clear blue waves lapped at their feet. The man appeared to have a slight limp. They stopped to watch the sunset. As the sun touched the horizon, it appeared to set the water on fire. The woman turned to the man, looking at the pendant that he wore around his neck. It was a small elephant made of white gold. "What are you going to do with yourself now, my love?" she asked. The man was silent for a moment, as if deep in thought, then answered, "Well, I hear tell of sunken treasure ships in these waters, and I have always wanted to learn how to scuba dive." The woman just shook her head slightly, and they continued along the beach. Chapter 31. A few years went by. Then one day Earl Manning was having his morning coffee when someone rang his doorbell. Earl opened the door and was surprised to find a delivery man holding a large box. He signed for the package and placed it on the kitchen table. Earl's wife came into the room. "Who was that, dear?" "A delivery man. Seems we got a package," Earl said, pointing at the box. "Have you ordered anything lately?" Earl asked his wife. "No, have you?" "Not that I remember." They looked closely at the box. It had markings in some language they didn't know. Earl cautiously cut the tape on the box. Inside was a smaller box. "I don't think we should open that," Earl's wife exclaimed. "Remember all the poison someone mailed to the White House?" "Who would want to poison us?" Earl remarked as he started cutting the plastic. The smaller box had been wrapped in 2 layers of thick aluminum foil, then 2 layers of plastic. Earl cautiously opened the box. A perplexed look crossed his face. Inside was what appeared to be a magazine and a small drawstring pouch. Earl picked up the pouch and emptied its contents onto the kitchen table. Earl's wife gasped as 20 solid gold doubloons fell out of the pouch. Earl picked one up, feeling the weight of the gold. "I think these are worth a lot of money," he exclaimed. Earl then picked up the magazine to see if it could shed some light on this mystery. The magazine was the July edition of Treasure Hunters magazine. The front cover showed a man crouching behind 2 chests filled with the same coins that were scattered on the kitchen table. Earl turned the pages and started reading the article associated with the cover. The story said that this man, who had chosen to stay anonymous, had found a sunken Spanish treasure ship. At first he had told no one, but the story had leaked out. The Spanish government had tried to lay claim to the gold, but they only had the rumor. They did not know the man's name or the location of the sunken ship. The story went on to say that the man had offered the Spanish government 1% of the fine to just leave him alone. If they declined his offer, he swore he would just melt the gold down, thus losing the historic value. The Spanish government had no alternative but to accept the man's offer. However, even after the deal was struck, the man still chose to stay anonymous. Earl turned back to the cover and looked at it closely. The man crouching behind the chest wore a hat and sunglasses. He also had a medium-length beard. He wore no shirt and his skin was well tanned. Around his neck was a necklace. Earl looked closely at the pendant. It appeared to be a small elephant. Earl looked past the sunglasses and the beard. He looked at the man's smile. "I know this man," Earl suddenly exclaimed. "Well, good for you, David." The end. This has been The White Elephant's Gold, written by W.R. Bottoms, narrated by W.R. Bottoms, copyright 2013 by W.R. Bottoms, production copyright 2013 by W.R. Bottoms, copyright 2013, all rights reserved by W.R. Bottoms, all rights reserved, including the right of reproduction in any form or by any mechanical or electronic means, including photocopying or recording, or by any information storage or retrieval system, in whole or in part in any form, and in any case not without the written permission of the author. This is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents either are the product of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously, and any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, business establishments, events, or locales is entirely coincidental. The author does not have any control over and does not assume any responsibility for third-party websites or their content.